Welcome once again. Thank you for joining us in the series, and we are talking about HTML basics, and this is lesson 8. And today we're talking about the image tag. Okay, so basically we have said diving deep into more of coding and leaving the structural aspect. So I would say we are in kind of a phase 2 of web development. So let's understand what is the image tag all about. Okay, so the image tag, that is the syntax written up there. The syntax for writing image tag is just open bracket img close bracket. Okay, it's a self-closing tag. That is why there is no second tag again like this slash im. No. The image tag doesn't have such because it is a self-closing tag. All right, the image tag is self-closing tag. So this is syntax for writing image tag, and we specify where the image is stored using the source attribute. Now remember I said when we were talking about tags, I kind of mentioned that tags has what we call attributes, okay, that tell more about that particular tag. And to get the image where the image is from, to input an image you put the image tag, but to get the exactly location of that image you use a what we call the source attribute. So this is a full syntax for writing an image. In here we have your tag, then in here you have your attributes, then here we have the image. All right, we have the image, the name of the image or the image source, that's the image source part. Okay, so how it's being written is basically simple. You can write it like this. Let me see, the folder name is image slash forward slash. What forward slash simply means in web development is that you are entering that folder. When you say an image forward slash, you mean that you are entering the image folder. So probably once you press forward slash, the image will be there and the name will be there. So you just click the name. Now I want you to take note of this down here, this dot down here before the file type. Okay, these are two very important things whenever you are trying to source an image. Whenever you name the name of the image correctly, you put a dot and a file type. The file type, it could be PNG, it could be JPG, it could be JPEG, whatever the file type is. Just make sure that you get the file types correctly. All right, so let's dive into our Acode browser and do some practicals about this. All right, we are inside our Acode app, and if you look carefully, it is where we left from the last time. I've not really made any change except removing those other ones, so we are going to be working with this. So let's dive into what we mean by including image into our web page. Okay, this is where I'm going to put the image, and let's prepare everything needed. All right, so if you click on this navigation bar, you will discover the file which we are working on. I remember I told you how to create a file and how to input this file type. This is a folder, then there is a file. So what do we do in here? We create a folder. Okay, we create a folder. All we just have to do in creating a folder, it's either you create it from here. Okay, files. All right, so we want to create a folder inside this particular folder, and we click on this plus icon. I'll say new folder, and we just want to name it img, or let's say image. Okay, let's spell it correctly, image. Okay, now you just press a good sign, and you discover that inside our first we now have two files. One is a folder that should contain the image, the other one is our index.html. all right, so what we're going to do next now is to get an image that we're going to be using for this website. And remember, so our website is basically a phone shop. Okay, so just go to your browser, and let's say phone shop banner. Oh, I didn't get my data on, I'm sorry. All right, so let's take this one. Okay, let's take this one and download. Alright, download is done. So now I want you to look carefully. This is where you get tricky. Okay, so if you go to your file manager, sorry, I changed my launcher recently, so finding my file manager is kind of a little bit difficult. Alright, so go to wherever your file you downloaded, we're going to move to the folder we want it to be inside. And remember, the folder is our first website and image. Look at the image folder which we created is automatically here. Alright, so we just open image and move it here. Okay, so it has been moved. And if we open our file manager, storage, and our first website, you see the image. Alright, so let's edit the name to something we can easily write out. Alright, so let's just say shop img. Alright, shop image. And if you look very carefully, like I said, don't forget the file type. The file type here is JPEG. Alright, so don't forget the file type. Now let's get back to our Echo browser. Alright, it's always restart sometimes, but it's always get us back. So now let's see. Okay, you can see the image in our image folder inside the same file, inside the same folder where everything is. Alright, so now let's input our image in the code. So always remember your syntax must be correct, and that's the tag for image. And the next thing we put is the attribute, which is source. So I will use the autocorrect to give me the equals and the quotation. Simple as that. Then the next thing is to input the folder first, then /, which means we enter the folder, and the file is shop img.jpg. Alright, so you come here and close the bracket. So if we save this and view this on the browser, bam, you can see the image. But if you notice very well, I have to scroll down before I could see the complete image. Okay, so it's not like we did anything wrong. It is perfect, it is okay, but we still going to have some attributes to the image which is going to make the image sizable and fit our screen. Okay, so let me use the PC or laptop screen size. Okay, when we get into what is it called, when we get into React responsiveness, I'm going to explain this to you. Okay, so you can see on the PC level, the what's it called, the banner fits rightly, but it's not really too much perfect like that. Okay, if I reduce the width, you discover that I now have to scroll to see all through, which is the font size. So how do we fix this? We fix this by adding some other attributes, and one of the attributes is the width attribute. Right, the width. So remember, width is the length, how long it is. Okay, so in this case, what we're going to do, tell this text editor now, let the image be half of the screen size. All right, that is what it means. This is what I'm going to do this time. I'm going to do now. So I'm saying 50%. What I'm saying is, let the image be half of the screen size. No matter the screen, if it is laptop, even though it's phone, the image will be half of each size. Okay, another again, you could add and then again we could add inside is the height, but I will just leave this blank because we don't really need the height. Okay, another thing again I will add. Okay, for now let me just leave this and show you. Bam, you cannot see that. Sorry for that exclamation. All right, so you cannot see that our banner is exactly half of the screen size. For those of us using phone, this is half of it. Remember, just look carefully. Oh shit, I think I've activated something I don't want. All right, if you look carefully, it is half of the screen size. Okay, if you still want it to be 100%, we can still set it. Okay, and we say 100%. Okay, I didn't save. All right, you can see I don't have to scroll now. If I didn't put any percentage, it means that the picture should just display its original size, but me putting measurements, telling the picture be how I want you to be. All right, so I'm going to leave it at 100%. And if I screw to laptop view, I was going to use this laptop view because most times you're building website for PC users too. So you can see it's taking 100% of the laptop. And if I reduce it to 50 back and I say view, half of the phone size, and half of the phone size, and I go to laptop view, still half of the laptop. All right, so I'm just going to leave it at 100%. Now another thing that I want to show us still inside the attribute is the alternative text. All right, the ALT, which stands for alternative. The alternative text is written sometimes when you're using, other persons are using screen readers, not really a browser, to view a web page. Okay, screen readers to view a web page. The pictures are not meant to show in a screen reader. So in this case, the person only say, okay, I know the picture that is here based on the description, and yeah, we're going to put phone shop logo or banner rather. All right, so you won't see it here, but let me say peradventure I kind of misspelled this. Let me just leave it misspelled and assume it's a screen reader. That is, I'm disabling the image and I click. You can see it's showing Photoshop banner. So the person using screen reader will say, okay, what is there? Literally there is the banner of the phone shop. All right, so I was just going to put it back and see save, and our site is back. All right, so that is basically how you add an image to a web browser. We can add your pictures, anything. So I'm just trying to tell you things, how to add things. Later we'll start making them, putting them together. Okay, so in the next lesson I'll be talking about links. Okay, links to HTML and links, talking about HTML links. All right, so see you in the next lesson.